Today we're going to look at carbs and clear up some confusion. My question I'm going to pose to you are your carb choices making you fat? So let's clear this up and look at how we can slip calories from our carbohydrate choices. This isn't a bash on carbs. Carbs are vitally important for fueling your muscles, fueling performance in and outside of the gym so that you actually enjoy life. Yeah.
Definitely, because I did hear once upon a time on the radio is that people who don't eat carbs are unhappy people.
They're miserable motherfuckers.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be, I'm going to be a happy person.
Cool. So in front of us, we've got a little bit of a carb slide. We've got some great tasting clusters up this end, and we've got some great tasting sweet potato up this end if you know how to cook them. Let's look at the nutrient and energy density of these foods, because it's not all about calories and it's certainly not all about the amount of carbs that you're getting as well. And as you see, as we get to the end, the nutrients will play a big factor in the choices that we make. So a typical 100 gram serve of these granola clusters carries about 464 calories with it. We put this into a slide just based off of looking at it instead of looking at the information. So you'll see as we go through, some of these are surprisingly higher in calories than what's that up that end. But with the 464 calories, there's 66 grams of sugar. It's a big hit of sugar, and certainly not food that's congruent with losing body fat. Especially if you're having them at a time of day where you're not utilizing that sugar. So moving on, let's look at the pasta. Pasta gets bashed. Surprisingly, pasta should actually fit somewhere down here. Okay. Now the pasta itself has 155 calories per 100 grams, and it's got about 31 grams of carbohydrates and 1.4 grams of sugar. So not the worst choice, but still kind of in that little middle spectrum where there are better choices that we can slip from.
And that's the thing, it's choices of where you're at in your journey and if you want to get leaner or you're happy with your current body weight and shape.
Exactly. So if we got a client coming in and they're on level 1 and they're used to eating this type of food, we wouldn't start them on just eating solely
Definitely not. Just say, oh, okay, switch to potato. But as long as you know how to cook them properly, because we have, got that down to a fine art.
Yeah. So let's look at the bars. These bars here, they're very commonly packed muesli bar, especially when you've just left school and you've been thrown into the workforce and you don't know how to pack your own food. You just pack what your mum and dad packed you. And then 10 years later, you're still packing muesli bars.
When you're going for them in the cupboard at 5 p.m. at night and you haven't prepared dinner.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
And this brings along with it the old adage of like one bite won't hurt, right? So one bite won't hurt. Let's see. In 100 grams of muesli bars, you're getting about 500 calories and 64 grams of sugar.
Which is a lot.
Yeah. Now, you'd argue a bite isn't 100 grams.
Yes, no, what I was arguing with was the serving size. Pete wants to look at all the 100 grams, whereas I would look at how I read a label is I look at the serving size. And so that's where, I play devil's advocate with him and I go, okay, a serving size is 2 of these bars, so a packet, right? And then you've got 27 grams and 11 grams of sugar. So that's how I would read it and go, okay, that's fine. No worries, I'll take that hit. But you then said,
well, yeah, I'm coming from the other side of the spectrum, okay? When I'm thinking of what I'm eating, I'm going to be looking at, is it going to actually fill me up?
Exactly.
And
the answer is no.
The answer is no.
And you're always searching for something else where you might have another one of those bars.
Yeah. Now I've got control of my body shape. I can do that. And it doesn't necessarily impact me like it once did. So if you're watching this video and you don't necessarily have control of your body shape, then reading labels is going to become a bit of a skill that you need to develop, and making sure that you're looking at the 100 gram column. Tortillas. Let's take a look at how many calories and carbs are in the tortillas. So per 100 grams, we're looking at about 312 calories and 48 grams of carbohydrates, with 4.2 grams of sugar. As we keep going down, we've got the taco shells that come in a little bit higher than these tortilla wraps. So we'll move them up. The total calorie count per 100 grams is 500 calories with 56 grams of carbs and 0.7 grams of sugar. So a little bit better, but still quite a big energy punch with that one there. And you'll know if you've ever had Taco Tuesday and you've been able to smash.
I'll smash it by a few of these. Yeah.
Rice cakes. Per 100 grams, we've got 382 calories and 70 grams of
You were quite shocked at these.
carbohydrates.
Because you love these.
I was. And when I'm depressed, I eat them like a monster. So this would actually go, if we're looking at carbs alone, it would go all the way up here.
Ooh.
Okay. And again, purely and simply because they're just so easy to eat, you can fit a lot of them in. So if you've ever got the munchies or you've ever found yourself just unsatisfied but eating a whole bunch of
Or if
food.
they're in your cupboard, but you don't have anything that you've prepared in your fridge, you will grab, and you're hungry and ravenous, you will grab those.
Yep. Awesome. So we've done the pasta. Let's look at the rolled oats. This is my carbohydrate of choice at the moment. Per 100 grams, 397 calories. And we're getting better on the scale with 58 grams of carbohydrates.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah. So these are all the grains. These are the processed package items. They do vary from one side to the other. And the easiest way to determine what's going to be the best is usually the amount of ingredients that there are on the ingredients list. So without even diving into the nutritional panel, just look at ingredients. We've got
whole grain rolled oats.
And one ingredient.
That's it.
And if we've got like the clusters, to give you another example.
Quite a few ingredients, and I do have become aware of that as well now. Like there's probably about 7 or 8 different ingredients, maybe even more.
Yeah, and we've got glucose syrup, we've got honey, we've got maple syrup. Like there's 3 types of sugar. We've got sugar in there. We've got malt extract. There's 5 types of sugar in there. Okay, let's come all the way down here now. So these are root vegetables. They are grown from the ground. They look as they come when they come out of the ground as well. Per 100 grams, both carry around the 90 calories per 100 grams. And both have 20 grams of carbohydrates. As the name implies, a little bit more sugar in the sweet potato, but I want to explain why we've got the sweet potato here and the white potato here. And that's purely and simply because of the fact that there are quite a bit more vitamins like beta carotene and a little bit more nutrition in the sweet potato than the white potato.
Because it has the color in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can I get the most out of the calories that I'm eating? You'd go all the way down to the sweet potato, and there's nothing better than some of these caramelized.
Well, that's the thing, and the point that I wanted to make at the end of the day is when you work on your nutrition and your habits and your palate and your taste buds, over time you start to not actually be able to handle this sort of stuff in bulk or more towards the 100 grams mark, and you start to actually crave this type of food for your palate, for your taste buds. You can feel the difference with how that makes you feel in your body compared to this sort of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And as you go down the ladder, this becomes sweeter on the palate.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
Like if you went straight from eating this type of food to this would taste pretty bland
and
and
you'd be looking
flavorless.
for lots of salt and lots
on
of
it.
flavor and mash and butter and all that kind of thing.
So, action task from this video is to identify what carbohydrate choices are you making at the moment and see if you can go down the ladder a little bit, 1 or 2 steps, to slip some calories and see
the difference.
more results. What should our audience do if they want more tips like this?
Oh, they should follow us.